And does the money that your basketball program brings in, does that money help other athletic programs?
Oh, yeah. The football and basketball finance all of the other 17 sports at this university. I know in basketball that if all of a sudden we weren't filling the arena here, I wouldn't have a job. I don't care if I'm in the Hall of Fame or anything else, because the school athletic program cannot exist without the $15 million that basketball brings in. Now, to me, that means it's a business.
Colleges use some of the earnings to give scholarships to athletes.
That's not a deal. That's the ripoff. Everybody is paid. Everybody gets paid except the athlete. The coaches get paid, the school gets paid, the referees get paid, the people who build and maintain the stadiums get paid, the university gets paid. Everybody gets paid except the one person that's bringing in all of the money, and that's the athlete.
We don't pay student athletes because they are students. That's the real answer. It's okay to be a professional in sports, and more power to those who can make it. But when you're in college, you're there to get an education.
The only amateurs in collegiate athletics are those who believe that there are amateurs in collegiate athletics. And if Mr. Brand believes that there are amateurs in collegiate athletics, then he's an amateur.
Do you ever say to yourself, hey, wait a minute, they're using me to fill these seats?
I think you can think like that. You know, I don't. And you think they're making so much money off of you. Like, my jersey is in the bookstore. You know, they're selling for $60 a piece. I'm not getting no piece of that. And it's making money off of me. Every game's been sold out for 17 years now. So it's like they're making money off of you. But also, I guess we all think that if we put in the hard work, you know, on the court and listen to Coach Olsen, then maybe our dream will be fulfilled in playing professional basketball somewhere.
So it's a fair deal?
I don't think it's an exact fair deal, but that's the way that's the best way you can look at it, and you just have to move on and just deal with it.
After helping Arizona earn millions of dollars, Andre Iguodala dropped out during his sophomore year and headed for the NBA draft.
With the 9th pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Andre Iguodala from the University of Arizona.
Another Arizona product to go in the first round. It's turned out so much good time.
More Arizona basketball players make it to the pros than graduate.
Of the first 9 picks, 6 have been underclassmen.
What's your reaction?
I think Lute Olson is running a very good elementary pro program. The question is it right, and does it help education?
Iguodala now earns nearly $3 million a year. But fewer than 1% of all college basketball players ever reach the NBA. Odds for the NFL are about the same. Careers in either league are short.
If I could go back and do it all over, yeah, I'd have took school a little bit more serious, because I didn't have a long football career. You know, it didn't work out completely like I wanted it to.
Injured in his first pro season, Fred White's career was over. He drove a truck and did odd jobs, scraping by.
I never expected for it to be that hard. That's when I started to think I need to go back to school and finish up and get back into the things that they were trying to teach me and fine-tune those things so I can do better.
Whatever we mean by the human mind,
it's been a whole lot easier for me because I'm actually doing what they told me to do.
If you hear a sentence in another language,
I mean, as long as I go to class, I pass.
right, because they're built by humans.
Tennessee gave Billy Ratliff a second chance.
Are you getting a sense that there's a continuity to...
The university has a program that pays tuition for returning athletes.
Are you a different student?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I'm up front and everything, and I'm able to walk to class instead of crush the class or get somebody to take me to class, so it's a whole lot easier.
Football, at big-time football program, football is going to use you for your athletics. They're going to use you. Turn right around and use us for academics. If we sat in your living room and told your parents how important it was to see you get that degree, We're going to do everything on our part to try and help you earn that degree. We're fortunate here at UT to have the resources that we can make that promise and then back it up by paying for them afterwards. But not every college program can do this.
It's almost an isolated kind of situation. I don't see any huge demand, any huge movement, any phenomenal outrage over what happened to the generation of athletes that came through 4 years ago. Colleges and universities are so interested in who's on the field this year and what are your chances. Who cares about a particular generation of athletes who may be exploited?
I kind of didn't get nothing from college but sports.
Carl Sanders.
I reap the benefits of getting out the easy way.
No open shots, no easy shots.
Since graduating, Sanders has tried to work his way up the professional ranks. Recently playing for a minor league team, practicing out of a Salvation Army gym.
I can't take nothing that I learned from school and apply it to the world now. Nothing. I'm still doing the things I did when I was 9 and 10. Play ball.
We're creating, by doing this, a lost generation. That really saddens me. What can we do about it? Whose fault is that?
Fault lies in a college sports system driven by profits. But athletes aren't the only ones who pay. In the late 1990s, Birmingham Southern College in Alabama saw its fortunes rise, and ambitions followed.
Everybody's riding the stock market. It's going beautifully. So stock market's going fine. You know, fundraising is going fine, and the campus's reputation, the college's reputation is growing and growing. So that can be a little heady, and you start to think, well, everything bigger is better.
Remember, opportunity cost is it has a very specific...
Long considered an academic leader, but a runner-up in sports. Birmingham's trustees voted overwhelmingly in 1999 to take its athletic program to the big time, Division I. That was before David Pollock became president.
The aspiration was the national attention that comes with Division I sports. It would help you in your enrollment. They thought you'll be in markets that you're not currently in. That's why they went in.
Birmingham Southern's teams posted winning records, expecting publicity would follow.
The reality was very different than that. On the marketing side nationally, it really wasn't giving us any greater bounce. You might get the ticker at the bottom of ESPN, okay? But anyone who has a 916 TV anymore knows to chop off the bottom of that. So I think it's really questionable whether or not we really are getting, they were getting that kind of bounce.
Meanwhile, the college was spending heavily on athletic scholarships and more, trying to keep up with the competition.
It's the arms race. If I, at small good school X, build a new weight room to attract athletes, then we at small good school Y have to build a weight room. Then somebody has to build an indoor track. And then somebody has to build a new swimming pool. And the facilities, the amount of money paid to attract athletes gets greater and greater all the time.
When you take into account the fixed costs, the fixed operating costs of the numbers of coaches and the recruiting visits and all that, these schools spend a lot of money.
James Schulman is co-author of The Game of Life, a book about the academic and business sides of college sports.
Now, when they do well, they make a lot of money. But as everyone knows in any realm, if you have something where the costs are very fixed and the revenues are very volatile, on average, you're not going to do so well. 1 year, Stanford lost a game that they weren't supposed to lose. Well, that meant that they got kicked off TV for the game against USC because all of a sudden it wasn't going to be such a big game. That meant a huge loss for Stanford. And, so the revenues are so sensitive to winning at the big time, but the costs aren't.
I know this for a fact. The vast majority of schools, even in Division I, are losing money if you do honest accounting. In fact, I would say that no more than a dozen or so of these schools actually break even and do a little better. Intercollegiate athletics nationally in all divisions generates about $4 billion a year, and it spends about $5.
There's a myth that all Division I programs make money. Our problem was we were spending too much.
By 2006, runaway athletic spending had driven Birmingham Southern into a $6 million deficit, compounding its failed attempt to win national publicity through sports. Pollock had seen enough. Quitting the big leagues, he eliminated all 144 athletic scholarships, worth some $2 million, and directed the savings toward academics. In protest, the baseball team quit, basketball too, and that was just the start.
Your sports writers in town go crazy. Their lives depend upon being able to write about sport. And you come to them and say, no, I'm going to take away one of the sports. One of our sports writers in town said, oh my God, you're taking away my job. I'm going to lose my job if I can't write about sports at Birmingham Southern. And so you can imagine what they're writing in the meantime, as they're trying to stop this.
At that moment, tell me what your thoughts were.
It was the right thing to do. I love athletics. I mean, I play ball and all that. That's not the issue. The issue is, how does it fit within a college environment? Are we here to create a spectator situation for other people, or are we here for the experience of the student? I think Division I athletics is so out of shape in America today that we have lost all perspective.
Around the corner, let's go!
In a twist, athletics has grown here as a result of being downgraded. Students not gifted enough to compete in big-time programs saw opportunities to play here and applied in record numbers, most paying full tuition. Birmingham Southern also added sports, including football, as a way to attract even more students.
We haven't had football here since 1939. Now that we've reinstituted, there was a real energy on the campus and in the city. I was on the field for a good deal of it.
There we go. First touchdown in 69 years.
No game. Second down and 10. The thing that struck me was how empty the stadium was. Did you ever think when you were there, maybe I am walking away from something? Maybe if we were Division I, maybe we could pack this place.
No, never even crossed my mind. Not in the slightest. I said, we're home.
Carrying momentum from its first win, Birmingham Southern has turned its back on big-time sports. Far more colleges are doing the opposite, climbing divisions and spending heavily in anticipation that more wins will bring in more money.
That is not a long-term sustainable approach.
Miles Brand warned of the consequences in a speech to the NCAA.
These problems will mean that the universities will have to increase its subsidy to athletics. Some subsidy in almost all cases is required. That's acceptable. But the greater the subsidy, the less funding is available for core academic activity of the university.
It's only diversion. It's rah-rah for State U. But at the end of the day, to support that fund, it's about money.
Increasingly, colleges pass down the cost.
Students are charged a fee. They, in effect, subsidize sports, the whole rotten ship, with their own extra money that they have to pay.